Life 300,000 years ago. A cinematic experience. It is 300,000 years ago. The Neanderthal is at the height of its power. Our hero is a mighty hunter. He is strong, clever, and successful. His cave is filled with the bones of animals he has slain. Life is good. This is a time when giant, woolly mammoths roamed across Europe. These enormous creatures were perfectly adapted for the cold climate. Their thick coats kept them warm, and their tusks were useful for digging through the snow to find food. However, these mammoths were not safe to eat, so our hero had to rely on his skills to bring down these beasts. Using spears and sharp stones, our hero was able to kill 2 young mammoths. It took a lot of effort, but the reward was worth it. After butchering the mammoths, our hero's cave was filled with meat. He would be able to survive the winter without any problems. But that wasn't enough for him. He wanted more, and so he set out into the forest again to hunt more animals. As the sun began to set, our hero returned to his cave. He had managed to kill a deer and a wild boar. With his 2 new prey, he would have plenty to eat for the rest of the week. As he made a fire and cooked his food, he thought about how lucky he was. Not only did he have enough to eat, but he was alive. There had been a terrible storm the night before, and one of the walls in his cave had collapsed. If he hadn't woken up early enough to get out, he could have been crushed to death. He looked around his cave and saw all the bones that he had collected from his previous kills. Some of them were from animals he had never seen before, like the bones of a mammoth. He didn't know what these strange creatures were, but he knew they were big, because their bones were so large. Our hero was curious about the world around him, and he wanted to explore more. One day, he decided to leave his cave and go on an adventure. He didn't know where he was going or what he would find, but he was excited to see what was out there. As he walked through the forest, he saw all kinds of animals. There were deer and wild boars, but also predators like wolves and tigers. He had to be careful, but he was also excited because this meant there was plenty of food in the area. He came across a river and had to find a way to get across. There were no bridges, so he had to find another way. He saw some logs lying around and had an idea. He pushed the logs into the water and made a raft. Then he got on the raft and paddled across the river. Once he was on the other side, he continued his journey. After a few days, he came across a group of people. They were not like him. They were taller and had different clothes. They also had weapons, but they were different from his spears and stone knives. They had bows and arrows. This was a new thing for our hero to see, and he was interested to learn more. He tried to communicate with them, but they didn't understand him. They were speaking a different language, and they were afraid of him. They thought he was a wild animal because he was covered in dirt, and his hair and beard were very long. Our hero was sad, but he didn't want to make them afraid, so he decided to leave. He went back into the forest and continued his journey. He didn't know where he was going, but he didn't care. He just wanted to keep exploring. After a while, he found a new cave to live in. It was bigger than his old cave, and it had a lot of space. He was happy to have a new home. One day, our hero was exploring the area around his new cave when he came across a group of women and children. They were gathering berries and other plants to eat. Our hero was shy, but he wanted to talk to them, so he walked up to them and introduced himself. The women and children were surprised to see him, but they were not afraid. They had seen him before from a distance, but they didn't know what to make of him. Now that he was close, they could see that he was just a man like them. They were curious about him and wanted to know more. Our hero was happy to answer their questions and tell them about his adventures. The women and children were amazed by his stories, and they invited him to join them for dinner. They shared their food and talked about their lives. Our hero felt welcome, and he was grateful for their kindness. From that day on, our hero became part of the group. He helped them gather food and protect them from danger. In return, they shared their knowledge and taught him new things. Together, they survived the winter and prepared for the next hunting season. Our hero was now part of a community, and he was proud of it. He was no longer alone, and he had friends who cared about him. They had ups and downs, but overall they were happy. They had food, shelter, and each other. That was all that mattered. Now, life was good. Our hero was no longer the lone hunter he once was. He had found a community and a place where he belonged. He was no longer afraid of the future, and he was ready to face whatever challenges it may bring. One day, our hero and his community were attacked by a group of men. They were bigger and stronger than our hero and his friends. They had weapons made of metal, and they were relentless. Our hero and his friends fought back, but they were outnumbered and outmatched. They were losing the battle. In the midst of the chaos, our hero saw a woman being pulled away by one of the attackers. It was the woman he loved. He couldn't bear to watch her being taken away, so he charged forward. He fought with everything he had and managed to take the woman back from the attacker. Just then, the sky darkened and rain began to pour down. The attackers, seeing that the battle was turning against them, fled into the darkness. Our hero and his friends had won the battle, but it had been a close one. They had lost many good fighters, and the woman he loved was injured. Our hero felt a sense of responsibility. He knew that he had to do something to protect his community. He couldn't bear the thought of losing anyone else. In the aftermath of the battle, our hero took charge. He organized the defense of the community and trained the men to fight. He also went out hunting to gather food for the people. He worked tirelessly to ensure that his community was prepared for any future attacks. He was determined to create a better life for them. But our hero was not just a fighter. He was also a leader. He listened to the needs of his people and tried to address them. He knew that to create a better life for them, he needed to unite them. He called for a meeting of all the men and explained his vision. He wanted to create a strong community that could defend itself and thrive. The men listened to him and agreed to work together. Under our hero's leadership, the community began to prosper. They built stronger shelters and developed new hunting techniques. They also formed alliances with other communities, creating a network of support. Our hero was respected by all of them. He had become a true leader, a beacon of hope for his people. Through our hero's efforts, the community was able to survive and thrive. They lived in peace and harmony, always ready to defend themselves. And so the legend of our hero, the great leader, was passed down through generations. This is the end of the first chapter in the life of our hero. What will the next chapter bring? Will he continue to lead his people to greatness, or will he face new challenges and enemies? Stay tuned to find out in the next episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.